what's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to set goals and actually hit them. So stay tuned. What's up? Welcome to my channel. Today I'm in the salon, but we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different than usual. Normally I'm in the salon doing technique videos or sharing something about business, but today I'm going to be talking about setting goals and actually hitting those goals. Now, I know that sometimes setting goals can feel intimidating, it can feel overwhelming, it can feel stressful, and sometimes it just doesn't feel fun. But if you have a clear plan, then setting goals and actually hitting those goals isn't that hard, and it's actually not that intimidating at all. So when this video goes live, it's gonna be the beginning of the year, but no matter when you're watching this, whether it's the end of the year, the beginning of the year, the end of the month, the middle of the year, whenever you're watching this, if you don't currently have a plan for your business, you definitely are gonna wanna watch this video because it's really gonna help you map out a plan for the rest of the year or for even the next couple months. And you're gonna wanna take this time to sit down and map out a plan for your business so that you can move forward with success. So let's get started. Now, before we get into the step-by-steps, I want you guys to take time to do this exercise. It's gonna take you a little bit of time. It's not just gonna be a quick 30-minute throw together some numbers or throw together some goals. This is gonna be something that you're gonna wanna sit down, take time out of your day, and what I would totally recommend doing is I personally love to get out of my normal environment. So get out of my house, get out of the salon, go somewhere and really sit down so that you can dream big, you can reflect, and so that you can plan out for the rest of the year. So personally for me, I love to go to cool coffee shops. I get a lot of inspiration there. There's lots of other people working. I can put my headphones in. I can really get dialed in. There's a lot less distractions for me versus when I'm sitting at home, I'm sitting at my office, an email pops up or someone texts me or suddenly I pick up my phone and I'm scrolling on Instagram again. My husband might call for me, or if you have kids or something, there's so many distractions when you're in your normal environment, and a lot of times it's not that inspiring. So I would recommend, like I said, going to a cool coffee shop, going to the park, just getting out in nature. For me, I also like going to the beach. It's a really great place where I just feel inspired and I'm ready to dream up for the next year. All right, so I'm gonna be giving you guys 4 steps to actually hit those big dream goals of yours. And these aren't gonna be like minor little goals. I'm actually gonna have you guys set big, crazy, insane goals, but I'm gonna walk you through step by step of how you can actually hit them. So let's get started. So step number 1 is going to be download and print out my free guidebook. So I created a completely free 22-page ultimate New Year guidebook, and it's gonna walk you through step by step everything you need to know. It's gonna ask you the questions of how to set goals. It's gonna help you reflect back. We're gonna walk through it, but it's a huge guide. So I linked it down in the description box below, but you can go to jamiedana.com/newyear and you're gonna download that. So pause the video, go get that, print it out, and then come back here when you've printed it out. Okay, so I hope you actually did that, like you actually paused the video and you printed it out and you're holding it in your hand right now. So this is what it's gonna look like. I got mine printed out. I love printing out things like this. And I actually used a guidebook just like this for the past 3 years in my business to help me map out goals, help me reflect on the last year, and inside this guidebook is gonna be what you want. So again, if you didn't already print it out, I'm dead serious, pause the video, go get that guidebook, print it out so you can follow along. All right, so walking through the guidebook, you guys will see the beautiful cover, but on the inside, we're gonna be talking about first looking back on the year before. So here's the thing. We wanna make sure that we're looking back on the previous year because we can't move forward if we don't know where we came from. So looking back, reflecting on all of those things is really, really important. Maybe biggest successes and biggest mistakes, things that you need to learn from. Because here's the thing, we can't just talk about all the amazing things. We need to kind of figure out what didn't work so that we're not doing that, continuing going forward. You're also gonna see things like biggest area of growth. And I think what the coolest thing about this is a lot of times we don't reflect on things like this, like how much did I grow or did I overcome a fear? And so that's in the guidebook too. So like I said, it's gonna take you time to go through this guidebook Guidebook, but I really, really want you to, because I have a feeling that you did a lot more last year than you ever even thought. And so a lot of times we just let the year go by, we don't think about it, but sitting down to reflect on the year. And what I personally did this year was I went through my old calendar from last year and I looked through week by week, day by day, what did I accomplish? What did I get done? Another thing that I did was I went to the archive feature on my Instagram stories and I scrolled through some of theirs, because I definitely highlighted certain moments in my business journey and even in my personal life on my Instagram stories. And so it was a really great way to remind myself. Now I want you guys to know that when I did this for last year and I totally sat down and did this exercise, it took me about 3 hours, which I know some of you guys might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's gonna take so long. I don't really care that much. But it's so important, because not only are you reflecting back on maybe what worked and what didn't, how you can move forward into the new year, but you can also celebrate all the things that you did. And like I said, I bet you did a lot more than you even thought. There's also gonna be a sheet that has all of your numbers, so you can track social media numbers, retail numbers, new client numbers, whatever you wanna put on this page, this is for you. So you can actually track the stats. And for me, I'm a total numbers nerd, so I love learning this stuff, but it's really helpful that even if you don't have the beginning of last year's numbers, that's okay. Start with what you have and just go from there. But I promise you that you will see growth in your business. And a lot of times we forget about that growth and we didn't think that, you know, I didn't make that much more, or I didn't really get that many more new clients. But in reality, you did. You just weren't tracking it. So you might have got a couple new clients last year, or you actually made a lot more with retail than you really ever thought. But because you weren't tracking it, you didn't think about it. So tracking those numbers is really, really key. And like I said, even if you don't have last year's numbers, start this year with that page and start filling it out so that you can be prepared for this next year. And at the end of this next year, I bet you're gonna surprise yourself with how much growth you've actually had. One last thing on that page that I absolutely love is I want you guys to look at your services and look at what services were your most profitable services. Because I think a lot of times we think that, oh, this service might be the most popular, but in reality, when you tally up your numbers, when you look through your clients, you might realize that another service is something that's actually more profitable. So you might want to incorporate more of that service into the new year. And last but least, in this looking back portion, what goals did I hit and what goals did I not hit? And maybe did my mind change a little bit? Did my plan pivot? Did I change my direction of where I was going? And guess what? That's okay. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later, but it's okay if you missed a few of your goals because your business or your plan or you pivoted. That's totally fine too. But it's really important to make note of those things so that you can track it going forward. All right, so now let's dream and plan for the next year. So now we're into the intentional planning section. This is one of my favorite things. And like I said, reflecting back is really important, but this is where we're gonna start planning for this next year and set yourself up for success so that you can actually hit those goals. So obviously the first page, we got a goal list, and I just want you to write down as many things as possible. And if you have to, fill out the back, add more, print out this sheet again. Sometimes you might want to print out 2 or 3 of these. If you have a lot of different goals, write them down, big or small, whether that means opening a salon or, you know, moving to a different salon or moving to a salon suite, or if that even just means, hey, making a certain amount of numbers with your retail goals every month, or, you know, getting a certain amount of clients from Instagram each month. Whatever that goal is, I want you to write every single thing down, big or small. So one of the other sections that I love in this intentional planning section is, if I could dream big, what would my business look like? And we're gonna break this down a little bit later in another step, but I want you just to go crazy. If you could dream big and think like the most crazy, insane thing, and it could be for this year or it could be for your entire career. So maybe your goal is to do a certain celebrity's hair. Literally, I want you to write that down. No matter how crazy, how big, how insane it is, I want you to write it down in this section, because we're gonna come back to it and we're gonna break it down later. But even if it seems like a completely unattainable goal, like I wanna do so-and-so's hair for their wedding, right? Like maybe it's a big celebrity. Don't think it's too big, because I've actually seen it happen. And sometimes your crazy goals aren't that crazy. Another section that I absolutely love is what brings me the most joy in my business. And this could be anything. It could be the way that your clients feel after they, get their hair done, and when you spin them around in the mirror and you show them their hair. It could be that feeling. It could be teaching or educating or mentoring or, helping out other stylists at your salon. It could be whatever you want, but I want you to write down the thing that brings you the most joy, the thing that you're most excited for in your career. Then I want you to ask yourself, does the job or the career that I currently have actually bring me joy? If so, write it down, explain it in detail. Again, go deeper into that, what brings me joy. But if not, I want you to ask yourself why. Why does the business I have not bring me joy? And what adjustments could be made to change that answer? I think so often we get set on the fact that, oh, this is my job, this is what I do, this is how I make money. It doesn't really make me super happy, or there's parts about it that don't make me super happy or doesn't light me up. But I want you to realize that as a hairstylist, we have the freedom to create the dream job that we've always wanted. That's the cool thing about our job is we can literally create whatever we want. And so I want you to start to kind of dissect your goals and really make sure that your business is aligning with what you really want within just your business and in your life. So the next section that I want you to pay attention to is your marketing section. So I want you to tell me where you're going to, invest in your marketing, whether that's Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, whatever that looks like. Maybe it's Yelp, maybe it's word of mouth referrals, but where are you going to invest in your marketing? And then I want you to kind of circle some of those ones of things that you're gonna work on this year, and then set goals for your social media and marketing goals as well. Let's talk about education and furthering yourself. So I want you to write down what techniques you want to invest in and learn in, and sometimes even just try. I think so often we get stuck in our rut of what we're used to doing or what we like to do or what we're good at, that we don't really try anything new. So this is gonna be your chance to come out of your comfort zone and say, hey, I really wanna try getting better at braiding or balayage or root shadows or whatever it looks like. I wanna get better at that thing. So write down that technique, and then I also want you to write down what kind of education you're gonna invest in. Whether that means online education by watching YouTube videos or investing in an online program. Maybe that means going to a specific hair show or conference or retreat, or maybe going just to a one-on-one class or shadowing a stylist for a day. So what does your education look like in the new year? And one thing to make note of is I was always told that you should spend about 5% of your income into education. So for some of you guys, that might be like $2,000 or $3,000. And I know that sounds like a lot of money to invest back into your education, but here's the thing, you can't stop growing, and you want to make sure that you're educating yourself on the newest trends, techniques, processes, and really getting educated. So I really want you just to be thinking about, okay, how much money does that look like for me? Where am I going to invest that in? How am I going to invest it? Again, that might mean flying out to go to a specific conference, or those overseas hair shows that they have, or that might be investing in a one-on-one coaching situation with a coach, or shadowing a hairstylist. So whatever that looks like for you, I want you to write down those goals and actually make them happen. And last but not least, I want you to write down what fear you want to overcome. Now, this is a big one, and it might make you a little uncomfortable, and it might make you sit down and think for a little bit. So what fear do I want to overcome? Maybe that means the fear of posting a photo of myself on my Instagram page. I know that that's a scary one for a lot of people. Maybe that means the fear of showing up and doing Instagram stories or Instagram video or Instagram live, educational videos, IGTV, or a YouTube video. For some of you guys, it might be fearful to try a new technique or to try a new marketing idea. So what fear do you want to overcome this year? Write it down, and I'm really excited to hear what those are. All right, so just to recap, step number 1 was download the Ultimate New Year Guidebook. Download and print it out. So like I said, the link is in the description below, or you can just go to jamiedana.com/New Year. Step number 2 to actually how to set goals and actually hit them is set quarterly and monthly goals. So these are gonna be setting smaller goals. Now, like I said, I know that goal setting can be intimidating, especially to plan out the entire year ahead of time. And I personally don't like to do this. I know some people are like, plan out your next 5 years, or where do you wanna be in your career in 10 years, or 5 years, or 2 years. And to me, That's so intimidating, and I actually feel like it boxes me in. I don't like to set goals for that far out. So what I like to do is I like to set goals in smaller chunks. So inside the guidebook, you guys are gonna see the quarterly and monthly goal spreadsheets. Now, these are gonna be ones that you print out every single quarter and month, and you fill them out accordingly. These are gonna really help you break down your goals. Now, this is what I use to actually set my goals each month, and it helps me keep track of things because I'm taking smaller bite-sized chunks. It doesn't feel overwhelming, and it also gives me the power to pivot or to change my mind. Because here's the thing, sometimes things come up, sometimes you get an opportunity, or sometimes you just change your mind on your goals, and that's okay. So it's great to have overarching year-long goals, but know that it's totally okay to pivot or change your mind, or just if you're not feeling it, to move in a different direction. And that's why I like to set these smaller chunk goals, because I feel like I have the freedom to move things around. Now, sometimes I've had opportunities come up where one month I had a bunch of different goals to hit and different things came up. I traveled a little bit more, I got asked to teach or go to certain events, and so some of those goals didn't quite hit it. That's totally fine. I just moved them to the next month. No big deal, they still got done. By keeping track of things monthly and quarterly, it allows you to really kind of break things down. It doesn't feel as crazy, and it actually makes you achieve those goals. And step number 3 is going to be set big, crazy, and ultimate goals. So I gave you guys a sheet in here, and again, you guys can print this out as many times as you need it, depending on how many big goals you have. But what you're gonna wanna do is on the big goal, you're gonna set something that's a big goal, bigger than you've ever hit before. Definitely don't keep it the same. I want it to be a big goal, something that's pretty attainable, but also still out there just beyond your comfort zone. So first you're gonna set the big goal, then you're gonna move on to the crazy goal. Now, this is gonna be a goal where you're like, okay, I doubt that's gonna happen, we'll see. It's kind of one of those like, okay, it's a little crazy, it's a little bit further outside of my comfort zone. And last but not least, I want you to set the ultimate goal. Now, this is gonna be that mind-blowing, insane, career-changing goal where you're like, okay, that's definitely never gonna happen, and if it does, my career is gonna be changed. I want you to write that down. And here's the reason why. If we just set one goal, what happens is all we do is we work to hit that goal. And sometimes if we just set the goal a little bit higher, we actually achieve more than what our original goal is. So here's a little story for you. So as you guys know, I have an online course called Oh Hot Gram, and it teaches hairstylists how to use Instagram to grow their business. And so every time we open the doors a few times a year, and when I opened the doors last time, I had set a pretty big goal. And to me, it felt like a big goal. It's a goal I've never hit before, and I was like, okay, this is a big goal of how many students we want to join the program when we open the doors this time. So it was a big goal. But then I said, you know what? I'm not gonna stop there. And I set a crazy goal, and I set an ultimate goal, a mind-blowing, crazy number goal that I was not thinking would ever happen. And so what happens is, by the time I had set that big goal, my mind is already thinking about, okay, let's just put this into reality. What if I hit the ultimate goal? What would my life look like? How hard would I work to hit that ultimate goal? So guess what? I ended up working my butt off. I did a lot of work, and I actually did extra work. I hustled just a little bit harder to not just hit my big goal, but I shot for the ultimate goal. And guess what? I didn't hit the ultimate goal, but I actually did more than double my big goal. What? That's crazy. But if I had just set the one goal, I probably wouldn't have worked as hard. I maybe would have just met that goal or maybe did a little bit over. But because I set my mind on this insane, crazy goal, we almost matched it. We didn't quite get there, but I more than doubled my first original goal. So that's why it's really important to not just set big goals, not just set crazy goals, but set those ultimate mind-blowing goals so that you can go beyond just where you originally ever thought you could go. All right, so moving on to the last step, step number 4 is break down your big goal. So a lot of times it can feel really intimidating when you have this massive goal and you just think, okay, I don't know how that's even gonna happen. I don't even know what steps to take to get there. So I created the big goal spreadsheet, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna write down your big goal here, and then you're gonna break that big goal down into 4 action steps that you can take. And then you take those 4 action steps and you break them down even further. So the best part about this is you're taking this massive, huge goal that seems so attainable, you're breaking it down, and then you're breaking it down into steps that you can take right away. And I actually added something to the bottom of this sheet, and it talks about what step will I make right now to start this process, to start moving towards the big goal. So I want you to write down, what goal are you gonna start with, or what step are you gonna start with to hit that goal? And then, last but not least, how are you gonna celebrate when you hit that goal? A lot of times I think we get so excited about our big goals, and then if we hit them, it's kind of anticlimactic. Yeah, you hit the goal, you might be excited, you might celebrate a little bit internally, but if you're not actually celebrating that goal, we wanna make sure that we're doing that. So maybe that means taking yourself out to a nice dinner, doing a spa day, maybe that means buying yourself something. I totally have rewarded myself after I've hit a really big goal. So by breaking it down, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more attainable by breaking it down and giving you a step-by-step guide to actually hitting that big goal. Now, I know one last thing is sometimes people are afraid to set goals because they're afraid that they might not hit them. I know that that was a fear of mine of, I can't set this crazy big goal because I'm an achiever, and if I don't hit that goal, I'm gonna be disappointed. And I know it's a total bummer if you don't hit that goal or you let yourself down. And here's the thing I want you to know, that it's totally okay. And I actually included in this missed goals analysis. And this is gonna help you analyze why you didn't hit the goal. Sometimes it's the fact that maybe your goal changed or shifted, or another opportunity came up, like I said and mentioned before. Things like that have happened to me before, and it's totally fine. But there are some things that I want you to pay attention to. If maybe you didn't hit your goal because you weren't motivated enough, or maybe you gave up because it was too hard. So that missed goals analysis sheet is really gonna help you stay on track, and if you didn't hit a goal, you'll know why. All right, guys, so that's the final step that we had, and I hope that it was helpful for you. I hope that this ultimate guide is the most helpful thing for you to plan out your year. And like I said, whether or not you're watching this at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, or even the end of the year, you can use this guide over and over and over again to plan out your months ahead, to plan out the next quarter, and just to get your business organized and on track. So again, you can download that by clicking the link down below or going to jamiedana.com/new. And if you guys are new to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I do tons of videos where I not only share my techniques in the salon, but I share tons of business advice too. And this video is actually part of an intentional New Year's series. And if you're watching this and there's other videos to this series, I link them down below if you want to check the other ones out. We're going to be talking about lots of fun topics on how to grow and build your business as a hairstylist. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And one thing that I want to ask you guys to do, if you downloaded the goal sheet book and printed it out, which duh, I hope you did, I want you to take a photo or a video or a boomerang of your filled out workbook. Now, you don't need to show anything confidential or your goals or anything like that. Just take a video of you working on it or a photo of you working on it, post it on your Instagram stories, and tag me, Jamie Dana Hairstylist, on Instagram. I'd love to see that you're working on this, setting goals, setting intentions for your year, mapping out your success plan, and I want to see it because I'd love to reshare it onto my stories as well. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, what's up? Welcome to my YouTube channel. No, I'm not doing too much of this. Different, I'm in my salon. No, this video goes live. Biggest blah, 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 business, blah, blah, oh my gosh. How much joy, nope. But if not, I want you to break down, hit that goal. And guess, where did it go? Oh my God, literally, here we go. Blah.